Hey there everyone. I thought I'd upload a walk and talk, and I'm just going to do it in one this time. I'm not going to try and edit it because I've actually recorded a few of these, but my computer doesn't like the kind of file that these phones record in. So I can't actually edit any videos if they're in segments. Pain in the ass. I have actually purchased the codecs, but Premiere will not recognize it, so I can't edit anything, unfortunately. I'm in a public park, so if I see anyone, I'll be turning my camera to the side. It's the weekend, so there'll be people in here, but it's also raining, so there's going to be a lot less than usual. It's one of the many reasons I actually really like the rain. I've always found the rain to be soothing. I'm very much an introvert. I'm very much an introvert. I've always liked being alone, being solo, my own space, that sort of thing, to the point where I actually kind of need it. It's actually been a problem in relationships before where they think it's about them, but I'm like, no, it's nothing to do with you, this is me. I absolutely need space on my own. And that doesn't mean texting me all fucking day, it means leaving me the fuck alone for a day or two, let me recharge, and then I'm all yours again. But yeah, a lot of people don't get that. It's quite actually nice and heavy today. Hopefully the phone doesn't get damaged by this. It should be alright, it's a decent phone. But I think I'll go that way today. Actually, the guy I've just turned around for has gone up that way. So there's a big track up there, so I think I'll head that way as well. And I'll move down to the right here. Oh yeah, I just paused it for a little bit while people get past. But I've always enjoyed the rain. I find it very relaxing, very soothing. And there's an old MySpace singer from way back when called Kate Quick Country. She had one song called Something About the Rain that has stuck with me for years later. I actually still have the song. You can find it if you look for it. It's a really, really good song. It's all about the rain being like a comforting blanket when shit's going wrong in life and you're feeling alone and that kind of thing. But this is something that a lot of people always do with the rain. They associate the rain with sorrow and the sun with happiness. Meteor has played its part in it, but it's what people do. But personally, I like the rain because it's very solitary. Not many people come out in the rain, not many people enjoy the rain, most people enjoy sun. So if you're an introverted type, like myself, you're probably more like the solitary nature of rain. Especially when you're doing an activity, like I'm currently doing rucking at the moment. I've got a weighted backpack. I'm a fat fuck. I lost a lot of weight over past few years, but since it stopped being an artistic obsession of mine, I've slowly been putting it back on again. So I went from about, let's say, 24 stone to dropping around 10 for a brief moment, but around average, like high 11 stone, low 12 stone, and then of course started putting it back on again. So yeah, it's one of those things. So one form of exercise I do find enjoyable is walking. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. I found walking works, so I'm just adding more to walking by giving myself a weight. But this is my normal route around here. I'm not saying where I am. If you recognize it, then you're local. If you don't, then good. But yeah. Well, that's why I'm out here today. I've been trying to do it once a week. And then I've got a community walk that I do once a week as well. I'll often bring the weight with me. I've not been doing it recently though. Other things have been taking priority, spending time with friends and whatnot. But yeah. But I really do enjoy the rain. It's soothing. But I've always been like a winter, autumn natured person. I love getting up at like 5 o'clock in the morning during winter and it's still being dark outside. You know, winter means less people. People aren't outside as much. People are huddled indoors where it's nice and warm. Oh, it's got quite bright out here for some reason. There we go. Yeah, winter means being cuddled inside where it's nice and warm, all wrapped up and dark outside. Me, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, make myself a cup of coffee, and sit outside, watch the sun come up, or go upstairs on my computer, put some chill music on, or whatever I'm interested in that day, look out the window, and watch as the sun comes up. It's quiet, it's slow, it's solitary, it's very much me. I don't hate people. I've had moments of misanthropy. I think anyone that isn't like oppressively positive all the time has that. You know, people suck a lot of the time. I don't hate people though. I actually think one of the biggest problems in the modern world, at least in the West, is we have no sense of community anymore. So we found community online. And these communities have often not exactly been the type to promote stability. Algorithms push people into extremes by only seeing one side of things all the time, and the most extreme side of the other enemy tribe. I think that's one of the biggest problems. We don't have a sense of community in the real world anymore. We only really have them online. I do have a sense of community in the real world. And this is coming from someone who grew up around gangs, didn't go out too much, and kind of hated where he grew up for a long time. But I've since met people who are more aligned with my speed, and more like myself, people who I can be open and honest with, people who can, you know, show me new things and go out with them and enjoy similar interests, and they're local. But I've also found that they all tend to be boomers. Not really people from my generation. There are people from my generation who I get on with, but they're pretty much all people I've known since I was in school. And then the odd person I found online, which, again, goes into that whole thing again. But I have definitely come to the conclusion that community is the thing we're lacking in the West. We're lacking a sense of pride and care about where we live and the people around us, because how it should be is you should have your home and your family. Your home is the building you live in, your property. Your family are your blood relatives and your close friends, your spouse, children if you have them, and beyond that, your home should be your community. It should be the area you live around. And your extended family should be the people that live there as well. I remember being in college, doing research for a specific project and seeing photographs from where I live. We used to have block parties. There used to be a sense of community. People would talk to each other. You know? There used to be gatherings, and the negative side of this, of course, is when negative things did happen, people could be very quickly ostracized. It would be spread around as the hot gossip, and any real problems were often swept under the rug, because if they came out, it would ruin your social standing. But there's negatives to everything. Of course, community also has that same issue of pushing a status quo that you absolutely must adhere to. But the online communities do this as well. So when you get people like me, who tend to be on the outlier most of the time, and the type of person to play devil's advocate, look at things at multiple angles, then, yeah, I tend to not get on with a lot of people. I found that the people I really do like are the type of people I would call abrasive. They speak their mind. And that's a rare trait these days. Well, more accurately, it's a rare trait to speak your mind without being a dickhead about it. Much like how a lot of people confuse being a leader with being a bossy dictator, a lot of people confuse being forward. What's the word I'm looking for? They confuse being honest with being a bellend. Being overly abrasive, not giving a shit about how other people feel. The thing is, you can be tactful whilst also being honest. There was a book I read recently called Surrounded by Idiots, and it turns out that the majority of people are green. Green are essentially the social cohesion types. They're the glue that keeps the community together. Reds, blues, and yellows are more focused on one or two areas. Me, I am a green-blue. I'm primarily a green, much like most other people, but my blue nature means I'm quite analytical and stubborn at that. Both are introverted types. So I'm very much the kind of person to get stuck in my head. But yeah, I find it very, very interesting. So with this, I can actually look at the green in a different way. Greens are not necessarily bad. They are social cohesion types. And mixed with a blue, it means I'm a pretty damn good person for when you have conflict in a group and you want people to understand the different sides of things. It's what I'm good at. It's what I've always been good at. I'm the kind of person you want when you want a mediator. I can, and do, have very hardline stances, but the social cohesion nature of me means that I'm willing to put those aside if I think my opinion is lesser than the social cohesion in importance. Case in point, I'll be playing a tabletop game recently, soon with a few friends of mine, one of which has been trans for a while, and recently they have wanted us to move away from using she, her pronouns and onto they, them. Ooh. Now, I've not exactly been quiet about my disdain, quite frankly, for non-binary. I think it's quite backwards. I think everyone would be non-binary if you did even a little bit of introspection, because anybody that is 100% masculine or 100% feminine is probably extremely unstable. Everyone's a little bit of both. We all have estrogen and testosterone in us. That affects our body, it affects our mind, our moods, you know. And I think we all have a bit of both, meaning if that's really what you're going to quantify, everyone's non-binary. But really what it does come down to is it comes down to essentially really pushing these gender stereotypes. You know, if you're a man that likes cute animals and skincare and plushies and things typically associated with women, then, well, that means you're not really a man anymore. You're probably gender fluid. If you're a woman that likes sports, construction, you're very competitive, well, obviously you're not a woman anymore, then you must be part man. It's ridiculous. But this person is a friend of mine. I've known them for many, many years. Thus, I will put my own opinion aside, specifically for them, in that environment, and I will use these non-binary pronouns, just for them. That's an example of it. But by the same time, I'm going to be open about not liking it. You know, I'm not going to just run up to their face and start screaming, "You're an idiot. I don't like what you're doing. You're contributing to the downfall of society." But if it comes up, I'll be honest about it. But at the same time, I'm not going to be abrasive about it. I'm not going to be an asshole about it, rather. But there's a few people I know who tells it, who speaks their mind, not really concerned about how other people think. And they do it in a way where I think some people would find it off-putting. In fact, I know one or two people that know them that finds it off-putting. But I like it because it's very refreshing. We're in a world right now where the majority of people are terrified of speaking their mind, of stepping a toe out of line and having their lives ruined. So when you meet people who are straightforward, where you don't have to guess around them, they're going to be honest with you 24/7. You know exactly what you're dealing with all the time. You know? That's quite frankly incredibly refreshing. I approve of that. So yeah. I'm just running my mouth at this point. I can't really remember where I got up to at that point. We got someone else coming here. That thing that I've stood on quite a few times and had a kick back. It's quite comfortable up there. You'll get a few looks because you're out of the ordinary, as the case usually is. But yeah. But no. As I say, I like people who are a bit straightforward, who you don't have to guess around. It's nice. Looks like the rain's dying down a little bit now. I'm recording this partly because if I'm focused on something, I'm less focused on the weight in my backpack, meaning I can walk at a more of a consistent pace and hopefully do this for longer. So it's a way of distracting my brain, so I'm not constantly thinking about the one thing I shouldn't be thinking about. It's actually one thing that makes the community walk rucking far easier than this form of rucking, because I'm having a conversation with someone, typically speaking, whilst I'm doing it. You know, it'll be over before I know. In fact, we're almost done with round one already. But yeah, things have been getting a little bit wild around England recently. There's a few little girls stabbed, killed, and, well, you know that it isn't a local that's done it. And thus we've had a bunch of riots going around the place, things being looted, people being attacked, people being killed, a lot of arrests happening, and, well, they're all scallies that are doing it, really. They're all scallies. These are people that don't actually give a shit about the death of these girls. They're just using it as an excuse to be thugs. To, you know, let their ape monkey brain side out for a bit. And of course the news is reporting it as far right, because everything bad is far right and everything good is left. But honestly, the action these guys are doing, you're not going to find many people who approve, because like I was saying about community before, they're not targeting the problem. They're fucking up their own community. They're fucking up the very people they're claiming to care about. Because they don't care about it, because they're scallies. They're essentially goblins or kobolds. They're cancer in human form, and always have been. These are the exact kind of people I've grown up around my entire life. It's why I, at one point, hated being from here. Until I found more people that I could actually grow to like and develop a pride in where I've come from. There is something to be proud of by being from around here. We're a people with a unique sense of humor, with a unique inner strength. We're a people that often get shafted by the rest of the country, and we all know it. It's turned people from where I live into quite hardy folk. Outside of these scallies, of course, the actual people from around here and not the trash. But if you speak to the majority of these people, the sentiment's the same. Most of these people are left-wing. You're going to find very few right-wing people around here. They're all accepting of gay people. They've got no problem with it whatsoever. You know, and they don't have anything inherently against immigration. What they don't like is the overreach, the obvious propaganda that they can see in front of them at all times, the two-tier justice system, in which Muslims can do pretty much whatever the fuck they want and get away with it, such as Rochdale, in which a gang of Muslims raped and trafficked a group of local girls for years. The police knew about it but did nothing about it because they didn't want to start a race war. The reality is Rochdale is a place that is heavily Muslim populated. So if they actually policed the population, well, import the third world, become the third world, they'd be attacked. Yeah. Essentially, we've got a problem in this country where certain areas have been colonised by a foreign entity. And we've turned it into little third world, unfortunately. And the fact that girls can be repeatedly raped and trafficked in this country and nothing really happens for years, despite it being a known thing, that's not exactly something that makes you proud of being in this country. When it came to light, they were branded as Asians, throwing every single other group of people that come under that banner under the bus. And the council of the area created a promotional video, a PR video, in which they interviewed a bunch of school children about how great it was to live there. Yeah. So, corruption, essentially. We have local people on the streets, people struggling to find work. Meanwhile, these illegals or asylum seekers get free housing, you know, and benefits and all this kind of thing. And as someone on benefits myself, it fucks over people like me. It fucks over people I know who do work, have worked their damn asses off. You know, got people on the streets because the cost of living is higher than ever before. All of the energy companies around here are owned by people outside of England, so they can essentially fuck us up as much as they want and they obtain all the money. And then occasionally they'll go, "We're sorry," and you know, and then nothing happens. We're forced to pay green prices because apparently a percentage of the money they earn goes to green causes. And considering how much these companies pollute and destroy the environment, well, we can safely say that that money is going fucking nowhere outside of just being a form of PR that the public is paying for. Essentially, people are sick of everything. We're constantly being lied to and gaslit by the government and media. Two sides of the same coin. Certain groups of the population can do whatever the fuck they want and get away with it, even some of the most evil shit imaginable. Certain areas in the country are being colonised. And we've got propaganda pushed down our throats 24/7. We're not stupid. We know what's going on. And we're sick of it. So, the common sentiment is, well, common. But yeah, the people doing these riots, they're scallies. They don't care about any of this. They're just using it as an excuse to be thugs. Like they've always been. But yeah, that's the situation we're in. Right, there's someone in front of me that's walking quite slow, so I'm going to pause this for now. And we've passed them. Well, yeah, putting the politics aside for a second, in other news, the stupid door video, that shitpost I uploaded recently. Apparently, the YouTube algorithm has decided to bless me, and that video has become, well, for my channel, extremely popular, which is weird. Apparently, the one time YouTube agrees with me and wants to reward me is when I call myself a moron. At least it's not like Facebook. You know, I've heard people say, like, Facebook really do have it in for you, because, like, I've actually, this is one of my longest streaks without getting banned on Facebook for a while. But, yeah, I used to get banned on there constantly. I've got a car coming behind me. I have. It's a van, actually. I used to get banned on there constantly. But, yeah, let's pause it for a second and let these guys past. Ooh, fix my headphones. Well, yeah, I used to get banned on there constantly. And quite a few people I know, essentially the pattern goes, they post something, they get banned. It's usually a meme, a joke. They get banned, and then a few months later they come back, post another meme, get banned again. Move on to Twitter, where you actually have freedom of speech. For the most part, you ain't perfect with it, but Twitter has been better since Musk took over. Don't get me wrong though, I'm no Musk sycophant. There's a lot of people on that friggin' platform that like to suck his dick on a regular basis, but I'm very neutral towards him. Twitter's better with him than without him, because essentially what's happened is it's gone from a far-right platform where only the established narrative and far-right bullshit is allowed to be posted, to a platform in which you can find the absolute worst, most unhinged takes from every ideology and every side of politics. So the fact that it's gone from only one form of crazy is allowed to all forms of crazy is allowed, I'd say is an improvement. Friggin' vehicles are out today, it seems. Lovely smell. Smells of manure and fertilizer. That's actually a weird thing about me. I think I might have been a farmer or something in a former life, because I know I like the smell of cows. They're not viewable today. I would have shown them off if they were. But sometimes when you come up here, there are viewable cows. You can see them. Just like there are sometimes horses in here. Yeah, there's a smell to them that I really like. I don't know what it is, it unlocks a memory hidden way down there. So I think I used to be a farmer on a former life, or at least did something with manure or fertilizer, because I don't know, I don't hate the smell. It's weird. It's not exactly a smell I'd have in my house. A Dieu al menu smelly going on 24/7, but still. The sun's coming up again, it seems. But yeah. But no, as I was saying, that stupid door handle video I uploaded recently, which was meant for a laugh. Some people seem to have taken it seriously. But this is the internet. And that kind of shouty sense of humour I've noticed on a few Scouser YouTube channels and TikToks. I don't go on TikTok, but I see TikTok videos on other platforms. There's this one guy called, I can't remember his name, but he's like the mad trucker, Scouser bloke. He's got that same sense of humour where he's shouting all the time and putting on voices and just being daft. It's great. It's a local style of humour, I guess. Obviously you'll be able to find it elsewhere. There's always going to be someone to point it out, like, actually people in my culture also do that. Cool. Then why do people think we're serious all the time when we do it? Why are you so angry? You're overreacting. It's called humour, mate. Don't take it so seriously. But, yeah, the door's been fixed now. I've got plans. Door's been fixed. Fence outside has been fixed. I've got plans to start painting soon. It'll be sometime next week, because my current time is booked. So it'll be sometime next week. But, yeah. I want to paint that door, because it ain't just a stain. I know when my mother used to own the place, that door would often be painted once every few months, because it would just get a stain there, and I think it's actually the paint removing or something happened to it. But no, it's not just a build-up of dirt, because they actually clean the house properly once a week. I do some basic things daily, like hoover and so on and so forth, but I do give the house a proper clean once a week, with, admittedly, the exception of dusting, that I will occasionally put off for longer than I should. But, yeah, that door will be painted. There's a wall. Let's pause again. We've got a few people in front of us. And we're back again. Oh yeah, there's that door needs to be painted. There's another one in the kitchen that needs to be painted. The rest are fine, but I'll probably give them a once over as well when I do it. And there's a wall next to the fireplace where the mirror is. I've got a few lovely paintings that I want to put up there. I got them from a Kickstarter. It was for, I think, tarot or oracle cards. But I just love the art, so I just bought a few prints through it. I've got I think it's a moose, a wolf, a bear, and a crow or a raven, I think. And I'm going to be placing them on that wall surrounding the mirror. But I think there's a mark on the wall from a candle that like got soot or whatnot all over the wall, so there's a black mark. Tried cleaning it, only made it worse. So I just need to paint over it. Well, there's things to do, you know. And the thing being the internet is, you'll get those people who judge by going, oh my god, this needs to be sorted, nee, 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 nee. I'm pretty sure that if you went to their houses, if they're not living alone, well, if they're, you know, if you go to their houses, they're gonna have a bunch of mess everywhere and things that aren't ideal. You know, even Marie Kondo, if you remember her, the one where the whole if it sparks joy kind of thing came from. Big minimalist, helped people get rid of a lot of the stuff they were hoarding. And actually I was watching that around the time I was doing up a few rooms, and that mentality helped me get rid of a lot of things. You know, it's not like Pandora's box anymore. It's quite organized and clean. But even Marie Kondo eventually said, oh yeah, it's too much work, fuck doing that all the time. And she was like the poster child for this extremely clean, organized mentality. And yeah, even she's like, nah, it's too much work, screw it. I wrote my book, I've got my money's worth of it, I'm not living like that anymore though. So it's just a case of, yeah. I'm pretty sure that if you go to anyone's house, it ain't gonna be pristine. They might have the rooms they have guests in pristine, but if you look in the rooms they don't have guests in, so yeah, people are very, very quick to judge and tell you what's wrong when they're online. But I'm pretty sure if you go to their houses, as I say, especially if like me, they live alone and they don't have a spouse doing all that on a daily basis, certain things just take priority, you know? And sometimes having a day for yourself to recharge and not driving yourself into an early grave takes priority over a job that needs doing. But the point of that video is basically to laugh at myself and my stupidity and basically say, look, if there's something that is really small that needs doing, just do it. Get it out the way. You know, and the longer you leave it, the more of a problem it becomes. But it's also perfectly understandable why people leave that shit, because stuff takes priority, and a lot of the time you just get used to the quick fix you've put in place. It actually feels weird for me at the moment, opening that door and shutting it normally, because I've been using that string for the like past few months. But I don't think there's anything wrong with judgment though. Judgment's one of those words that a lot of people view as inherently negative, but it's just neutral. You know, there's certain people that we all judge. Like I said, I grew up around gangs, and there's a certain type of clothing style. It's changed a bit. It used to be like grey, black, white sports hoodies, Reebok, Adidas tracksuit bottoms, and it's kind of swapped over to the North Face. Everyone wears those stupid padded jackets that look like tires. But it's the same concept. Everyone looks like, these people look like they get all of their clothes from a sports store, you know what I mean? Despite never really playing much sports at all. But they're scallies. And I will judge these people based on how they dress because of pattern recognition and how many times I've seen people that dress like that who are complete pieces of shit. Cancer in human form. just a blight on society. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Fact is that people judge people. We all do it, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's how we find people like ourselves. It's how we find safe environments. It's how we avoid dangerous environments. It's a survival technique. Judgment is absolutely fine. It becomes a problem, like pretty much anything else, when done to excess, where you don't use any of your other tools used to discern. That's a fun word, discernment. It means the same thing as judgment. It just doesn't have as many negative connotations. You know, it's like Homer Simpson said at one point, crabgrass, people wouldn't like it if it was called pixie grass. Well, people would like it if it was called pixie grass. It's like, yeah, the problem isn't the thing, it's the name. And the connotations and associations that are connected with that name. Nothing wrong with judgment. Just use your other tools on top of it and it's fine. But if you only use judgment and can't see anything else beyond that, that's when you have the problem. Same thing with being stubborn. I'm autistic, and one of the best traits about being autistic is I'm a stubborn fuck. And being stubborn usually means to a lot of people that you're pig-headed, that you will not change your ways even if you're wrong. And yet it can mean that, but it also can mean that you're ironclad, you are determined, you are tenacious, you will not give up, you will not give in because you believe you're right. It means you're far less likely to fall in line with the crowd, like those pesky Greens. You're far less likely to fall in with the crowd just because that's what the group says. You're far more likely to be an individual. So stubborn isn't inherently a bad thing. It just, again, has negative connotations. And there's a lot of words like that, and you'll find people throwing them around like crazy all the time. Because ultimately, it's an attempt to control you. Be less like you, be more like me. You know? Ugh, I'm struggling for things to talk about now. I might leave it here. But yeah, it's, I'm hoping to lose this weight. That's the thing, like, I went from, what was it, like 24 stone to around, I'd say 11, 10, 12, 2, something like that. That's where I kind of teetered around. And then over the last year or so, I've been gaining and gaining and gaining slowly, going back into old habits. And it was extremely annoying around the winter, because everyone says, oh, everyone puts on weight during the winter. Everyone does it. Yeah, well, I put on weight during the summer last year as well. It's got nothing to do with the season, mate. It's got everything to do with my bad choices. You know? Like I said, I'm a winter and autumn person. That's the kind of weather in which I want to get out. Summer, I just want to stay in and not go anywhere and just not do anything. I'm more like a fish in that regard. Yeah, if you want to go fishing, go when it's cold and rainy. Don't go when it's sunny. When it's sunny, they're just going to be lazing about at the bottom of the lake. When it's raining and a little bit chilly, they're more active. Not like me. But yeah. Great thing about weather like this, where it's raining, is helps cool you down a little bit. But my arms are still caked in sweat. But yeah. Nah, it's annoying when you're trying to lose weight, because again, you get that non-straightforward thing where it's like, oh, you're fine, there's nothing wrong with you. No, I'm not fine. I've gained a lot of weight, and I know because I can feel it on me. I can feel this stomach on me all the time. That's not fine. I was better before, and now I've gone downhill. I'm not as bad as I was, but I've certainly gained. Oh, you're fine, there's nothing wrong with you. It's like, nah, don't do that. You're gaslighting me to be nice to me. It's not fun. Just be honest. And then finally one guy eventually said, he tried to be diplomatic about it, but he basically said, oh yeah, you're a lot thinner back then. I'm like, yes, thank you. Stop bullshitting me to be nice. Just be honest with me. I hate that, man. Because the thing is, I generally believe that I do read people quite well. So when you get things like that, it really stands out that they're just bullshitting you. And they're bullshitting you to be nice. You know, they're trying to not be an asshole, but that's pretty much what they're doing. Oh, we got another one. Ooh, a few people around there. But yeah, like I'm saying, like, this is the thing. It doesn't come from a bad place. It comes from a good place. They're trying to not say anything that would upset you. Because that is how a lot of people would react. Because the fact is, a lot of people say, oh, I want the truth, I want honesty, I want the truth, I want honesty. And then when they get it, even when it's not delivered in a mean way, they don't like it. They get offended. They get upset. The thing is, I don't like hearing negative stuff about myself. No one does. I don't enjoy it. It's not something I actively seek out. However, I still want to know. I want to know where I actually stand. I don't want to play games with people. I don't want to fuck around for social niceties. I want to know. I want to know what people think about me, and I want to know where I stand. Because what that means is, when you're dealing with someone who's honest, when they tell you something that's negative, they mean it. And if it's something it's not just their opinion, but it's something you agree with, such as with me gaining weight, that is a sign that, yes, this is real. It's not just you being paranoid. It's real, and it's noticeable. This is something you might want to work on, right? But then when an honest person gives you a genuine compliment, that feels good. That's something you can hold on to. This is the problem a lot of women have when it comes to compliments. Because women get compliments all the fucking time. They mean nothing to them. Not only do they get the compliments all the fucking time, they get the same compliments all the fucking time. And usually, because of the way women tend to operate, they're not genuine. They just have this social cohesion kind of mentality where everyone needs to say positive things to each other all the time and boost each other up. But as soon as they're away from the group, that's when the catty backstabbing and like honest opinions start coming out. You know, men tend to work in the opposite way. Men tend to be a little bit more honest than men are the kind of people to say mean things to you, but in an endearing way. Women tend to be the kind of people to say nice things to you, but in a judgmental, aggressive way, or a aggressively judgmental, or a kind of like backhanded way. And I've just said judgment is a neutral thing, but you know what I mean in that context. There's a reason why we have judges, for example, for competitions. They're not negative. It's a neutral position. But, yeah, you know what I mean in that context. But, of course, people are different. They're not just the group. So there are exceptions, and men bullshit as well. Especially when they're trying to be nice. But yeah, men, it's a meme at this point. It's a meme because it's true. Men very rarely get compliments, so when they do get a compliment, and a genuine one at that, they hold on to it for life. I can remember every compliment I've ever received. At least the genuine ones. Because I've got some of them. I've got some compliments, specific ones, multiple times from different people. And as a result, it's a core part of my self-image, of my self-worth. Being easy to talk to is one of them. One I've got quite a bit is I apparently come across as quite intelligent. However, I know enough to know that I know nothing. I know enough to know that I'm actually kind of an idiot. But I appreciate the compliment nevertheless. I think I just sound more intelligent than I actually am. Believe me, I've been in a room with actual intelligent people. And compared to actually intelligent people, I am a fucking minnow. But yeah, it's why a lot of men really hang on to compliments. Because a lot of the time when they get compliments, they are genuine. But when women get compliments, they're either part of the female social group, so probably not genuine, or they're used just to get closer to them. So they tend to be distrustful of them. You know, and obviously familiarity breeds contempt. Apparently I can't say that word properly. And if you hear the same shit over and over again, especially when it's not always genuine, you get tired of it. You know? That's one of the biggest disconnects between men and women, because men hear women complaining about compliments they receive all the time and be like, God, I wish I could receive compliments all the time. It's like, yeah, because the compliments you've received are pretty much genuine most of the time. That's the difference. But women get them so often that they stop recognizing what's genuine and what's false or backhanded or a manipulation tactic or something. The human condition. But yeah, it's when you speak to someone who is an honest kind of person, and they're always honest, even when it's going to be unpopular, that's where you know where you stand with them. And I'd rather be around people like that. I don't want to hear negative things about myself. I don't like to hear negative things about myself. But I'd rather deal with that and know where I stand with a person, which makes the positive more valuable when around them, than deal with needing to guess all the time and then being unsure when I get positive or negative, because people are too concerned with being nice than being honest. And this mentality is pretty much part of why we've got to where we've got in society. Like, I'm a rainbow flag waver. I have rainbows in my house in multiple areas. I've even got my own pride flag for my own specific group, demisexual, which is a branch of asexual. So, I'm not exactly what you would call a conservative. I like the core concept of pride, but I like the core concept of pride the same way I like the core concept of Christmas. The core concept of pride is accepting who you are, being proud of who you are, not letting the bullshit in the world get you down. That there's nothing wrong with being gay or bi or lesbian or whatever. It's absolutely fine. You know, don't let the bullshit in the world tear you down. You're absolutely fine. Be proud. It takes all colours to make this world shine bright, kind of thing. I love that. Same reason I love the core of Christmas. Families getting together to celebrate each other and share gifts and spend time together and feast in the coldest, darkest times of the year. Being the warmth and the light for each other in a time period in which it's just dark and cold all the time. But the problem is the reality of these holidays, these events, isn't the core of what they are. The reality is marketing. Buy everything that's rainbow. Buy all the Christmas decorations. Buy presents and cards for every single person you are aware that exists. Even if you don't really speak to them on a regular basis, you must buy them a card. Push that social kind of pressure. If you don't buy cards and gifts for everyone, then they will view you as a horrible, selfish, Scrooge-like individual. By the same token, if you don't embrace the rainbow and shove rainbows everywhere and buy all rainbow products, then the world will know you as a horrible, hateful bigot. It's just like, you know, shit's being accepted when its primary use is a fucking marketing tactic. We've achieved the fight, guys. It's over. But now things are pushing a bit too far. And what we're experiencing is, well, back in the day, predatory people would hide in the church. Because the church was the cornerstone of morality in the culture. It was where everyone got their sense of community, got their sense of morality, got their sense of purpose and value. The church was power. The church was unquestionable. And that is why the predators were found there. Because you could not question the church. It was too infallible, had too much power, too many protections. Pause for a second. Well, these days, as you may have guessed and may have noticed, the church doesn't exactly have that power anymore. In fact, the church is one of the things that's very, very much acceptable to hate on a regular basis and blame for everything. So, where are all these predatory people gonna go? Well, they're in government, they're in Hollywood, they're in any place where you can find a lot of power, a lot of protection. They're now in the LGBT. Because unfortunately, that group has become the new church. It's become the place in which, it's become the group in which is unquestionable. The damaging of its symbols is considered akin to violent, bloody murder. One of the most morally repugnant things you can do. You cannot question the rainbow. You cannot question the people under the rainbow. Everything they say is fact. And if you have any problems with any individual, that means you have problems with the group. Pride has essentially become the new church. And as a result, we're finding a lot more predators in there because, well, that's the new safe place to hide. That's the new questionable moral authority. Much like the church before it. That's how things go. But of course, because people have grown up around an era in which the church and the right wing were the cause of a lot of these problems, the satanic panic, you know, video games cause real life violence, friggin' rap music and rock music, Satanism, video games are Satanism, Harry Potter and Pokemon is Satanism, everything fun is Satanism. People have grown up around that, and they've not realised that the world around them has changed. Now, don't get me wrong, you're still going to find plenty of conservative, fucking dark age Christian types, but the conservatives are a lot more real, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Easier to get along with, for the most part these days, to the left. Now, I do consider myself left, but as I've said, like the 90s left. Not what the left has become. The left has become the same. Moral authoritarians that want to control everything you do and say. They want to control your very identity, what your beliefs are. And if you don't adhere to their core values, they'll brandish you a monster and try to make you a pariah in society. It's the same shit. Exact same mentality, different coat of paint. But because most of us have grown up with one being the oppressor and the other being the oppressed, we find it difficult to recognize when those roles have been reversed. And again, this isn't to say that the old remnants aren't still around, because they are, but it's not like it was. The cows are in fact there. I was going to have a look-see, but there are people there, and I feel like I'm intruding, so I'll move on from there. Maybe at some point in the future I'll show you the cows. They're very cute. Anyway, moving on out. I think I'll be leaving you here now anyway, because I'm almost at the end of the second run now. And since I haven't done it for a while, I don't think I'll be doing a third. But I hope you've enjoyed this nearly hour-long walk and talk. It's been fun. Good way of keeping my head busy, so I'm not focusing on the weight. Couldn't tell you how much the weight actually is. I always forget. But it's fine. It's heavy enough. But yeah, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed. And let me know what you think down below. It's very pretty out here. Let's have a quick spin before we go.